Hey, First Family, it's Pastor David here, and I want you to grab you a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you want to drink, and let's talk about Love Local for this Memorial Day weekend. Yes, it is that time again. It is time for us to turn our attention to our neighbors, our coworkers, our classmates, and love local, particularly as we go into the summer season with the kickoff for Memorial Day weekend. This is a great time for us to just do some simple things that allow us to build relationships with our neighbors so that the gospel can begin traveling along the bridges of those relationships as we seek to make disciples of all nations. Now, I know some of you participated in our Love Local leading up to Easter. We're so grateful for that. I just love hearing the stories of how many of you connected with your neighbors in particular during that time. But some of you may still be wondering, why Love Local? I mean, why not just go to the church and put on some big event and invite the whole community out, and they can come and get hot dogs, hamburgers, and face painting, and whatever. Well, there's several reasons, but let me give you three why Love Local is really an important way to approach the bulk of what we do as a go and tell church. The first is it's actually more in line with what we see in Scripture, starting with the command of Christ. In Matthew 28, Jesus says, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations." And of course, we've talked about this before many times, that go, that verb, is a ongoing action. So as you go, make disciples. And so we see that the gospel went out there among the early Christians, the early church, not through big events, although there are definitely spaces for those types of things to happen. Matter of fact, while I'm filming this, I'm eagerly anticipating our car show in just a few days. It's a great opportunity in a unique way to connect with our community. But by and large, the way the gospel is spread is through relationships. And Love Local, as we call it, is a way that is much more in tune with the heart of Scripture, with the heart of Christ's command. So that's why we give these emphases. That's why we have to equip you to do this and encourage you to love local throughout the year. A second reason is that it lets us be the church where God has planted us. God, in His wisdom and His providence, He has placed FBCW all throughout the Woodbridge area. And so rather than us concentrating at one geographic location that's very, very limited, we get to spread out and just be naturally where God has placed us. And that is a beautiful way for us to be the church in our neighborhoods, in our places of work, in our schools, in our places of play and recreation, and all of that. The last thing just I'll share with you in this video is that, believe it or not, it's actually far more strategic for us as a church when it comes to making disciples, because making disciples is really built on that relationship dynamic. There are a lot of ways in which we can proclaim the gospel, and we definitely need to do that. But for the process of being faithful to Christ's command to make disciples, we need relationships. And Love Local lets us establish those relationships on the front end of the disciple-making process. So in case you're wondering, hey, why Love Local? Why continue to emphasize this? Those are just three of many reasons why we believe that this is a great way for us to do go and tell right here in our community. So let's dive into it. Let me share with you some ideas that may kind of get the juices flowing there of how you can leverage this Memorial Day weekend to love local right there where God has placed you. So these are in no particular order. These are just some things that we've kind of thought about as a staff we want to share with you. You may think of other things. That's great. So let's just kind of jump right into it. Let's look at some really simple, fun ways. Uh, Sidewalk chalk. Anytime we have anything that is a special event or holiday, there's always themes that go with it. There are certain colors associated with it. Of course, for our patriotic holidays, we've got the good old red, white, and blue. And so grab you some sidewalk chalk, organize the kids in your community, and just decorate sidewalks and driveways with patriotic art. I think, in our community in particular, people would absolutely love that. It would just really make your street look amazing for the weekend of Memorial Day. And it's something that's very easy, very, very cheap for you to do and to get people organized. Another fun way that you can do on almost any holiday is, of course, bake cookies or something like that. But of course, hey, it's Memorial Day, so make them red, white, and blue in honor of our soldiers, especially those that have fallen. As we reflect and we celebrate this holiday, and make some cookies, deliver them to your neighbors. It doesn't have to be everybody on the street, but maybe just 3 or 4 right there around you. Just the way to say, hey, we're happy Memorial Day. We're thinking about you for this holiday. I want to wish you a great day. Simple as that. You can do some things that are maybe a little bit more take a little more organization. Like, for instance, you can organize your neighbors to come together to write letters to soldiers. This is something that's good for kids and adults. And there's actually a website, we'll put the link in the description, A Million Thanks. That website actually helps you to do that, to take to how to write those letters and get them to soldiers that are currently serving in our military in the various fields and campaigns where they are currently stationed. It's an easy thing to do, and it really means a lot to our soldiers. Another thing to do is, if you know of people in your community, if you know of neighbors in particular who have lost loved ones in service to our country, this doesn't have to be like a big community thing, but just maybe your family, just write some letters, just letting them know that, we know this is a hard day for you. We are thinking of you. We are praying for you. If there's anything that we can do, let us know. Just something simple, thanking them for their family and their soldier sacrifice for our country. Those mean a lot to people. Another thing you can do in coordinating with neighbors is you can actually send care packages to soldiers. There are a couple of great websites, or there may be more, but I'll just mention 2. One is Operation Gratitude. Another is Support Our Troops, and they can help you know what items and how to get a care package to a soldier overseas. Again, something that you can do with your neighbors. They can bring items together. It takes a little bit of advanced planning, but I think it can be a wonderful thing to do. You can even fold that into something like a cookout. Hey, these holidays like this, there's a lot of grilling out, picnics, things like that. You can take some of these ideas, combine them, and really kind of give a specific Memorial Day honoring soldiers theme to what you're doing. Another thing that you can do is this will be, I think, kind of neat. You can get with someone who's either in the military or maybe part of our military ministry, or maybe, I bet you even the Trail Life guys know how to do this. And that is do a little lesson on proper care and display of the American flag. It can just be something, again, informal that you can invite people out to. Again, it's just a way to get to know neighbors and leverage just what people are already kind of thinking about as they go into Memorial Day. Another thing you can do is maybe put a prayer box out in your front yard, maybe next to your mailbox, where people can kind of come along throughout the day and just write prayers that they have. It can be prayers for the country. It can be prayers for particular soldiers, whatever it is. And I'm thinking like maybe, like a Rubbermaid box that you can get like at a dollar store. Just take the lid, cut a slot in it, put some pad and paper out there, or they can just tear it off, drop it in. It's just a way to say, hey, we care about our neighbors, we care about our country, and we just want to invite you to come and just on your own, let us know how we can be in prayer for the things that are on your heart this Memorial Day. Another thing that you can do, particularly, this is a good combination thing to do if you're like having like a little picnic or get together, is to just have a moment of silence and prayer for those that have given their lives in service to our country. Now, you can actually organize this specifically to be just that, invite people over. Some of you may know, others may not know, that there's actually an official time nationally for a moment of silence, 60 seconds of silence for Memorial Day, and that's at 3 p.m. local time. So you can actually invite people over just prior to that so that you can together observe a moment of silence, offer prayers for those fallen in our community. Another thing that could be a lot of fun is to do a very simple poppy craft. The poppy, the flower, that is sort of the symbol of remembrance for fallen veterans. And I've got a nice little link there in the description from the website, Hey, Let's Make Stuff. So it's very simple with tissue paper, cutting out, layering it, making a poppy that people can wear. Again, just simple ideas that can bring neighbors together so that you can get to know them, begin to build those bridges so that the gospel can flow over those bridges as that relationship develops and unfolds. So first, family, please, if you're going to be in town, I know some of you may have travel plans, some of you may have other things going on, that's okay. But if you're going to be in your neighborhood this Memorial Day weekend, make a point to love local for the sake of the gospel. It is part of how we make disciples as we go and tell.